programming your shots, you have the choice between a time-based shot and a volume-based shot. Each shot type has its own pros and cons. In this video, we will explain the differences between the two shot types so you can decide which method will work best for you, or if a combination of both may be best. Let me explain the differences between volume and time shots. First, a time shot is a shot based on opening and closing the gun for a specific amount of time. This method is very repeatable and consistent as long as the machine parameters remain unchanged. John, can you explain a few things that may affect the machine parameters?
Certainly. For example, if you change your mix chamber size or a machine setting and or the hose length, it will change the amount of material that's dispensed in the programmed amount of time. For example, a larger mix chamber or a higher machine pressure set point will allow more material to flow in the same amount of time, and vice versa. A smaller mix chamber and a lower pressure set point will reduce the amount of material dispensed in the same amount of time. Operators need to be aware of this. If changes to the system are made, the shot time may need to be adjusted.
Well, thanks, John. So now let me explain a little bit about a volume-based shot. A volume shot is based on opening and closing the gun for a specific volume of material. Volume-based shots are good at keeping the amount of material dispensed consistent even when machine parameters may change. Things like changing the mix chamber or pressure set point. One thing to keep in mind is when volume-based shots are used, a few shots must be performed for the system to establish a calibration factor. So John, can you walk us through and explain what a calibration factor is?
Certainly. So to explain calibration factor in simple terms, it's the difference between what the system actually dispensed versus what the shot was programmed to be. The system will naturally overshoot the desired shot volume as the system repressurizes after a shot is complete. Most of this overshoot is due to the accumulation factor of the hoses. Things like total hose length, hose diameter, hose pressure rating all affect the amount of hose accumulation when the system is stalled under pressure. Once the system's calibration factor is established, the system understands the accumulation factor of the system based on the flow rate and can accurately dial in the desired volume shot. There are two methods to perform the system calibration. First, it's a 3-shot manual procedure, or you can have the system set up for auto calibration. For the manual calibration, you go into the Dispense setup menu and hit the Calibrate button. This will then walk you through taking 3 manual shots. These 3 shots are establishing the system calibration value. If auto calibration is selected, the system will automatically do the system calibration when 2 consecutive shots are outside of the desired volume shot tolerance, which is plus or minus 10 cc's.
A good recommended practice is to do a manual calibration when the system parameters change. Things like changing the system set point or changing the mix chamber size or even changing the hose length. By doing the calibration after a system changed, the system now learns the new accumulation factor based on the current system setup. This allows for consistent shots without having to adjust the program volume shot value. Another recommended practice would be to enable the auto volume calibration. This will keep the system evaluating each shot to make sure it's within tolerance, and if the system sees 2 shots in a row out of tolerance, it will automatically adjust the calibration factor to help assure repeatable shots. Having the auto calibration enabled helps improve the system's performance in case the operator makes changes to the system and forgets to do a manual calibration.